Yo, 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 yo. How is
Yo,
everyone doing today?
what's up? What's up?
We are literally on episode 5. How you
Cinco.
feeling? How you feeling about doing 5 episodes of this thing, man?
So far, so good. I don't know. I think I'm listening to them, and I'm thinking. I think we have some solid hits. I don't know. How do you feel?
I think they're getting better as we go. Each
Yeah,
one, the next one's always better than the previous one. Not to say that the previous ones weren't good, but so how's everything going over there in sunny South Florida?
it is hot. It's miserable, and yeah, summer's here. That's definitely for sure. So
Yeah, we are definitely feeling that heat down here, or up here in South Carolina. I can only imagine, but the humidity down there, I believe, is going to be a lot worse.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So what are we talking about today on episode 5? First of all, I'm Tony. You?
I am Rolly from Rolly's Retro Room, and this is my good friend Tony,
What's up?
and we're here to basically talk about all those things from the '90s, the '80s, the early 2000s, all the nostalgia stuff. Movies, video games, TV shows, toys. And today, man, do we got some? I guess they're toys. Some are toys, extras from the '90s that we would get. Some fast food stuff. Um, a particular experience also that we had in the '90s. We'll talk about, and then something that we all used to do when we used to go out to the movies, right? Or at least right before the movies. We're gonna be touching on that. So today we're talking about all the extra things, not the Happy Meals, but the extra things you used to get at fast food places. Like you would buy a meal or a Happy Meal or something like that, and it's like, oh, for $1, for like $2, you could get this item. The next thing we'll talk about is the whole ice cream truck experience. The ice cream truck would come down your neighborhood, and just the pure insanity that would
Oh, the
come with the
joy.
ice cream truck.
Oh, the joy. The joy.
And there's a little history to the ice cream truck and the music, which we found out today when we were researching. And I was just like, wow,
Yeah,
I
we
can't
were.
believe it.
Yeah, we were definitely mind blown with that one.
Yeah, I
We'll talk a little
just
bit about that.
a little tainted stain on our childhood.
Yeah.
And we'll end it on another note when we'll talk about the good old movie phone.
Oh, the movie phone guy.
The
When
movie phone
we didn't
guy.
have Fandango and stuff.
No, we didn't. So, first off, back in the day, do you remember? Let me ask you: were you a Burger King or a McDonald's guy?
Ooh, good question. I think I was a little bit of both, but if I had to choose, it'd probably be McDonald's for
Okay.
sure. Definitely a happy. I think it's something about that nostalgic Happy Meal box that I think separated from Burger King and things like that.
Yeah, I figured that. I think we had a conversation a while back, and you told me something like that. I'm a Burger King guy. Burger King was my thing. Food wise, I just like Burger King better. And yeah, so I just enjoyed Burger King a lot. Like the food was better. The burger felt more like a burger to me there. But yeah, speaking of which, we have on screen the Happy Meal crew of Burger King.
The
And
Burger King Kids.
if
Is
you
that what
look,
they called it? Or the Burger King Kids? Is that what it is?
yeah, and it's a very diverse group. I realized it. I thought of them when I saw it. I'm like, it kind of reminded me of Captain Planet. You had somebody from everywhere. So you got Kid Vid, which is the blonde guy with the visor. That was my favorite guy. I mean, I'm literally dressed like Kid Vid with my glasses and the
For
hat.
sure. Kind of looks like
Um,
Cyclops.
yeah. They gave you, so the kid in the wheelchair. So, the kids that were disabled didn't feel left out. You
For
have
sure.
the sporty girl, and then the adventurous girl, which is on there. And then the Spanish kid, or no, is he Spanish? No, I think he's Asian. I
Is
think
he
he's
Asian
supposed
or
to be Asian.
Hispanic?
Well, he looks Spanish, but I think his name is Asian.
Oh,
And
so
then you have the African American character, and then you gotta have like a nerdy kid in there, and he kind of looks like, I guess they're going for like an Einstein thing, and they called him IQ. And then
yeah, I see
the
that.
dog, I'm going to assume the dog is Kid Vid's dog. But anyways, that is the crew of the Burger King, like, Happy Meal crew. Like whenever you get a Happy Meal, one of them, I actually have a toy of Kid Vid somewhere back there in the '90s section of the room. But Burger King to me was my thing. So Burger King had some banger additional accessories you could buy.
For sure.
And if we're gonna jump into talk about these things, the first thing we have to talk about is those Nightmare Before Christmas watches,
Oh my
dude.
god. Dude, do
When
you oh my god, do you remember those? Like,
when the
they
watch when the movie came out, the first off, the movie was just mind blowing. Like the animation on that, the stop motion that they did for that, it just blew everybody away. And when they did the promotions for you get these watches, and it's literally like you buy a value meal and for $2 you get a watch. I only had one of them. Now, funny enough, I actually found these later in life, and I actually have them right here.
Oh, let me see.
So
I don't think I collected all of them. I think
this
I only had
is
the
the
one.
one I had as a
Ooh,
kid,
that's nice. Look at
and I
that.
broke this in PE, and
Oh, that's in
man,
pristine
was I upset.
condition. Look at that. Look
So,
at
but
that.
again, I bought this one again. I bought this as an adult. Like,
And let me ask something. Does that fit your wrist?
no, none of these watches fit my wrist. These are the other two that I have here. I'm missing one.
Oh, so you're
I don't
missing
know if
one
it's
more. The Santa
there.
Claus. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that. Look
So
at
I'm
that.
missing one more. I'll eventually get it for the collection. But
That'd
man,
be
these things were like every kid had them. We were running around
for
with
sure.
these things. We were like, we didn't have like actual like good watches, so we were just flexing these things. I remember one kid. I mean, he was the rich kid of the class. He had them all. So
There's always one, isn't there?
every day he wore a different one. And meanwhile, I'm there with my black one. And when that black one broke, bro, I was trying to figure out everything. I was trying to super glue it on. I was just making things worse. I was trying to super glue it on. I was trying to like tape it, and it just wouldn't stay. Then I even got like tape and like tried to tape it onto my wrist, and it was just a mess. I was so heartbroken when I broke that thing in
I think
PE.
that's the reason why it was 199. And
Yeah.
I just out of curiosity, how many times did you ask your mom to take you back to get another one? Like, I can only imagine. Let's go back
Oh,
to the king.
quite a few times, but she never did.
Oh my
But then,
god.
all right, so we had the Nightmare Before Christmas watches, and then following later on, I think it was like in 1997 when Jurassic Park: The Lost World came out. We had these watches, the
Yeah.
Jurassic Park watches. Now these were dope looking. Like these had like, I feel like these are a better quality. Now these I have all four. So, but
You have all 4 of these. Where did you
growing
get
up,
these?
I had the ugliest one, and my mom
Which
would
would be the
take me back.
ugliest one?
The ugliest one to me was this.
Let me
It
see.
basically has like dinosaur parts in it, and it floats. It's like watery or whatever. And
Got it.
yeah, this one, but I had a dinosaur. My buddy had the one I wanted,
And which one was that one?
which was this one.
Of
And this
course.
one
Of
opens up.
course. Oh
It's
my
just this thing
goodness.
was,
Look
and
at that.
again, these things. I wish I could wear these now. Like I would flex these. I would if I go to cons. I would wear these things.
For
But
sure.
yeah, no,
Oh,
these.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these things were sick. This one, because of time, I guess the reflective eye thing doesn't really. It's not really capturing. It's a little dead, but
Okay, yeah, I see it. I remember the
it
reflective eye.
was, yeah, you see it there, it's a
It was the eye
dinosaur
of the
eye.
raptor, right? I believe it was the eye of the raptor.
Yeah. And then this one was just like a whole dinosaur scenario.
Oh,
Let me see, I don't
man.
know it's
Oh my
capturing it.
god,
There
you're
you
taking me
go.
back. Oh my god, those
But these
nice.
watches, like, yo, you would literally go to Burger King, you would get the kid a Happy Meal, and then like, oh, on top of your Happy Meal, yo, let's throw in some watches. Two
Yeah,
bucks, you get a watch. And if I had to like guess what inflation would be with something like this, you're probably paying like 7.99.
easily. No,
Seven
easily, for
99,
sure.
maybe $9 just to get a watch for the kid. Like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, two
No.
bucks, a little more reasonable. And then they had that whole thing out there. It was just crazy. Like, the good times, the I don't want to say the cheap times because they weren't cheap. I mean,
They
the
weren't cheap. I
items
guess you
were
adjust it for inflation, it'd probably be, it seems cheaper now, I think, but I don't know, 199 didn't seem that bad back then either, if you
no.
ask me. It
And to
really
be
didn't.
honest, like I mean, those things were flexes. I mean, everyone was like flexing these in school. Again, I wanted that cover one. And the crazy thing, you would go and ask, like, oh, can I get that one? And they're like, no. Like I remember when I went, they're like, no, we're out of that one. That's one that every kid wants. I'm like, of course it is. And then they're like, oh, we have this one with the eye and we have this one with the parts. They gave me the one with the eye. I literally opened it and it was broken. So I was like, "Oh, this one's broken." So then they gave me the other one. I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm stuck with this one with the floating dinosaur bones."
Wow. Yeah,
But
I can't imagine, it breaking so easily. So I'm like, that's why it was 199.
that's
You
why
know,
they're 199.
definitely doesn't go in water. Forget it. And they're not gonna last in water. There's no 35 millimeter meter watch. These are
Water,
just like
yeah.
these may last you a month if you wear it
Now
every day.
the going aside from the watches, Burger King had like a straight banger, and these things are still sought out by collectors.
I remember the Rugrats one.
Yeah, so
These I
then
remember.
the last one was the Rugrat watches.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the last one. I mean,
and
those are
those
the
were,
last ones I
and
remember.
the funny thing is, I was already like later in high school, so like these didn't catch my attention, but I know my cousins had these.
Right. So
So these
they were
were,
still flexing the watch when
yeah,
they were
and I think these they had a button that you would press, and like one like you would hear like a part from the movie, or like you would hear one of the characters talking. So
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I was kind of phasing out the watches at this point, so I didn't get any of these, so and again, McDonald's is more my thing, and so that's,
right. But yeah, Burger King was killing with the watch game, and later on they did do a watch set in the 2000s when they released the Star Wars movies, and I have those, but we'll leave those for a
yeah,
2000s conversation. But
for sure.
I have those. Those are my original ones. I have them like in the closet back there in the tins and
That's
stuff like
awesome.
that. But yeah, man, they did these watches, and it was just, and the value. Look, 199. You get these
They were s
watches, and so
they must have been
essentially,
199 throughout all of them. I mean, this is I
yeah,
mean, you gotta figure what this is
this
Rugrats, you gotta figure what 96,
I think
97
no,
maybe?
well, this is the movie, the Paris movie, so I think that's like
That's what I'm saying, the
99.
Paris movie, like 96, 97.
Well, no, no, I think that movie was 99,
Oh, it was?
like,
Oh, so
literally
then
at
it's
the
still
end.
199, look at that.
Yeah. So,
So you gotta figure from 1993, 199 to 1999,
yeah, things
no
weren't
inflation between those
they
years.
weren't moving things like that back then, like, the
No,
inflation
definitely
wasn't hitting how it is now, like, every year we go up
yeah,
50 cents to a dollar, $2, stuff like that.
yeah.
So,
Wow.
but then watches aside, Burger King was still killing the game with something that's probably one still sought out by collectors. And of course, this is a an IP that has a massive following, especially in the card game area, and that's Pokemon. Pokemon had this set of gold-plated cards that came in a Pokeball.
Wow.
Whenever you got like a Happy Meal or something like that, you just for $2, there it is, 199. You could get a gold-plated Pokeball.
That is
I'm sorry, a
insane.
gold-plated card in a Pokeball. I have one of those downstairs. It's a Charizard that hasn't been opened.
Really? So
Yeah,
it's still sealed in its
it's
wrapping.
the box has a little wear on it, but the actual packaging of the ball and stuff like that, it's still in the plastic seal. This thing was crazy because Pokemon hit. I was really into Pokemon. My cousins who were about like 6 years younger, 6, 7 years younger than me, were super into Pokemon, and we were going after these things like crazy. I remember the bed I had in my grandma's house. We had gotten them all. Literally, gotta catch them all. We put them on top of my bed. I had like this bed, this back thing that was just wood, and
Mhm.
we had all of them lined up, and it was such a
Imagine.
dope little display thing. Like my cousins would get them, like, "Oh, we got to put like they." We basically said that this is gonna be the overall collection for everyone.
That is
So
awesome.
we put them in my room, and these things, man, I mean, it was a pretty sick little setup, and the quality on it, you would think, 199 is gonna be cheap. No, man, these things were like heavy, heavy
They were good
duty,
quality?
very
And
good
let me ask you
quality.
something, were these cards that you can actually play in the game if you want, or were these just kinda collector sets
No, it's
for
like a collector's thing. They didn't
okay,
have like
nice.
power ups or anything. It wasn't part of the actual card game, the Pokemon card game. This is just like a thing like Pokemon was hot and they did a collab. As you can see, like the cups and the fry thing had like Pikachu on it. But yeah, this thing was just a massive, massive hit that to this day people are looking for them, and like there are people like flipping them for
I'm
a
sure.
pretty expensive price point.
Like on eBay and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I mean, that looks again, 199, look at that. That is
yeah.
incredible. And so they had some weight to them, like the cards and
Yeah,
stuff.
they definitely had some weight to them because
I
it
love how you
feels
said you kinda displayed them, and
mhm.
I'm just, like, looking at the same time, I'm looking in the back of your room. I'm just like, "Oh, this is probably where it kinda started, the whole thing, like, your whole collection thing." Like,
I've
it
always been a collector and I every time I got anything, I just had to figure out how to display it. Like when I got into Goosebumps, I literally got a bunch of Goosebumps books and basically like just wanted to display them all after I got them. And my mom's like, "I'm not buying you any more until you read all of these." I'm like, "Well, I'm reading them. It's just I'm displaying them first. Like I'll go and come home with like 5 books, read one, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll get to the other ones." She's like, "I'm not buying you any more books until you go through them all." And I go, "You just want them because of their art?" I go, well, "Yeah, I do, but you know,
I think that's what they're known for. I
yeah,
mean, the art was amazing. So,
yeah."
yeah, that'll be another episode too. So,
Um, what
but
was
yeah, I just noticed that the display. I'm like, oh, look at that. That's where it started.
yeah. Another item that hits another very popular company, if you will. Disney had a collaboration. They had several collaborations with Burger King, and you got
Yes.
the Disney glasses. Now
Oh, these glasses.
I have 7 of these. I am missing
Wow.
the Beauty and the Beast one. I have them all
Is that
back
the
there.
most rare one?
They're actually right there in that shelf, all of
I
them
see.
except for
Yeah.
the Beauty and the Beast in the box.
Wow.
Um, out of these, like, I mean, I think we had 2 of these. I think we had Aladdin and Lion King. To be honest, those are the ones I cared about. I didn't care about any
Yeah,
of
I
the other
think so too.
ones.
I think I had Dumbo. I remember getting Dumbo, Aladdin, and I want to say Pinocchio. And
Mhm.
I think this is around the time when I'm sure you remember. I think it was coincide with the Disney Vault. Do you remember that when you had the VHS tapes and then like because obviously Dumbo and all these animations weren't our wasn't our generation, but they would re-release in the '90s a Disney Vault, and it was a collab with Burger King with these cups. So it was like, oh, okay. So because once it was in the vault, it was in the vault. You wouldn't be able to get it on VHS
Right,
anymore. Remember
they
that?
would take it out. It wasn't available to purchase for a certain amount of time, then they would re-release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember these cups very, very vividly. Like it takes me back. It's just like you're looking at these. I'm like, wow. I like I remember that they were being plastic. I don't remember they were glass, right?
Yeah, these are glass. And
Oh,
I
these were glass.
yeah, these are glass.
Interesting. See, the
Or
ones I have are
I think it's
plastic.
like a fake plastic glass type of thing. I have
Okay,
them
yeah,
there,
like
but I wouldn't want to drop one to test it, but I remember I opened one and it feels like glass, but the crazy thing about this is the price point on these is 89 cents. I believe you had to buy like a specific like meal, like
look
a
at that.
Whopper meal or something like that. But then for 89 cents you get
How,
one of
how
these.
much are these going for now? How much would you these for?
I got the set that I got for a really very good price, but I've seen them go for like 50, $60.
I wonder which one
Um
is like the rare one. So obviously you said you don't have the Beauty and Beast one. I can only imagine that.
So there I don't think there's a more rare one than the others. But they pretty much like if you want to buy an independent one, you're looking at like $10, $15. They're selling independently. I got
Yeah,
my whole set of 7. I think I was able to finagle the guy to like $18 for all because he was just sitting
that's
on
great.
them.
No, it's great. Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, I remember. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember them? If you were using them quite often, that the picture would fade. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't have dishwasher where I was living, so you would wash these things by hand and stuff like that, and just scrubbing the inside and the outside, just it gained a sponge to it and gained the glass and the wear. Just I guess it will start like chipping that paint.
yeah,
It is like it's
yeah,
like it's painted on,
yeah.
or it's printed on, but yeah, no, this is a lot of people that do collect that 90s collections have these, and I'm still on I'm not gonna say I can't find the Beauty and the Beast one. I've found it, but people are just charging like hella, and they know if you're buying that one,
Yeah.
it's probably to complete a set. So like
Ah,
I've seen like the Dumbo and Pinocchio one with the box, and they're like $3, $4. But then Beauty and the Beast, I guess that would be. It's not that it's rare. It's just that it's a higher quality movie that people deemed a little more important or like they liked better. So Beauty and the Beast is a very popular '90s movie
yeah.
versus Pinocchio and Dumbo. Even though Pinocchio and Dumbo are absolute classics.
Of course. Yeah, yeah. I think again associated with the '90s where animation was, just king. I mean, you got hits after hit after hit. So I get it. I get why Beauty and the Beast would be like I guess the most rare one.
Yeah. So then you had these cups, but then there was a release of a movie. that I feel people still like overlook. And to me, this was a great movie. Like I enjoyed it and I understood it when it came out. So there was a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Last Action Hero.
Oh my god, the
And
Last
Last
Action
Action
Hero.
Hero had a collaboration with Burger King. Here's the thing. I didn't see this movie in theaters. I remember my uncle and aunt would leave my cousins at my grandma's house. So I would ask my mom, can I stay at my grandma's house? Because my cousins are going to be there. And they went out that night and they went to go watch this movie. After they got out of the movies, they went to Burger King and got like all of us, all the kids, like Burger King. And then they had these cups. The awesome thing about these cups is if you look at that picture right there, it's actually two pieces. It's the cup, and then that film reel looking thing is just like a little cylinder that goes over the cup, and you rotate the cup and hold that, and it actually moves. They have an animation on there that those lines make it seem like it's moving. So you're actually getting like a scene of the movie in there.
That's
Bro, when I
incredible. Like
saw that,
the ingenuity is
yeah,
amazing.
I was just like, "This is the future. Like, these cups are the future." Like, are you kidding
This
me?
is it.
It's
Every
it's
cup should have this.
it's a video on a cup.
Yes.
So awesome. And then to talk about the movie, that movie was literally like it was meta. It was literally poking fun at the genre that he basically ran, the
Yeah.
action hero movie. And like he was saying all his cheesy lines, punching a glass and it doesn't affect him. But then when he's in the real world, he punches a glass and he's like,
Yep.
wow, that really hurt.
Yeah, I think the
So
I think the one I say is like, it's like, "Where are you going?" "I'll be back." "Ah, I
ah,
bet you didn't know I was gonna say that." I'm like, "You
yeah.
always say that."
Like,
And I was like,
"Buggy
"Okay."
baby, bubba bubby." Ah, but you didn't know I was gonna say that. He goes, No one knew you were gonna say that."
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
man,
mean,
Last
that's what I
Action
like. It was
Hero,
definitely meta before meta was
su
like a thing.
such an overrated movie. It's a great movie, and if you understand why it is the way it is, understand he's poking fun at himself, I think people enjoy it more. But people went to watch this movie expecting like a great action movie. Like, understand, yes, it does have action. It's a good movie, but the point of it is literally he's pointing the finger at himself, making fun of his own genre, and
I know.
basically saying, "I know this. It can be ridiculous at times."
Of course, but I think that's what I loved about the movie because again, it wasn't just that, but it was also where he loved the movies itself, and I think as a kid, I related to that,
Yeah,
and I was just like, "Oh my god, okay." And I guess with the whole meta being meta thing, and he confronts himself, and he's like, "Hey, you caused me a lot of pain over the years," and it's just like,
yeah,
it was definitely out there. I don't think at the time, I don't think anybody got it, but I just liked the cameos that were in there and stuff like that. I think Sharon Stone made a cameo. I
yeah.
think, what's his name? T1000 made a cameo too. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger had asked him, "Hey, can you just make a quick cameo, just kind of walking in the same suit?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." I was just like,
But
that was great.
great movie, great play on the actual genre. Definitely underrated '90s movie.
But I think man, that cup, man, oh my god, like if they brought those back, that I mean, I'd be like mind blown because that would still blow kids away. I
I mean,
think
you could.
today,
I'm telling you,
today.
go on Macari or eBay, you'll find them. I think I saw them when I was looking up the info for this. But
Nice, nice. Yeah, I
now
think I think I want to get
now
one.
the next thing is very close to my heart because I have two whole cases back here celebrating a fandom that I'm into. Do you remember the Burger King Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle VHSs?
Of course, of
You
course.
would
I
go to
I
Burger King.
I have never gotten one, but I remember them being for sale. I would go through the
You
drive-through
would
and
go to
bam, it
Burger
would be
King.
there
I believe they were 99 cents. 99 cents. That's
for
it.
a VHS
Get a
tape.
happy I think the qualifier was you had to buy a Happy Meal, and then for 99 cents, because you see at the top the branding there, it says
Yeah.
Burger King Kids Club. That's the club with the cartoons we showed in the beginning, the characters. And for 99 cents, you get one of these movies. So these I believe I had off for. Like my mom knew my obsession with these guys. And she's like, okay, she literally bought two in one visit, and then we went back for another visit, and then we got the other two. And I literally like I knew which ones I had. So I'm like, no, I need this one, this one. And I had all of them, played the shit out of these
And let me
episodes.
ask them, this was from the cartoon?
Yeah,
Like,
these are episodes from the cartoon. It's literally a 22-minute episode on a
okay,
VHS.
okay.
So it's a if you think of it now, it's like a waste of a VHS because 22 minutes on one VHS, like it's nothing. They could have easily put all four episodes on one tape, but I understand the the sales part of it back then,
Yeah, of course.
sell 4 independent tapes at a
Make
dollar
more
versus
make more
1
money.
tape. Yeah.
Oh, they gotta make the bottom they gotta make the money. They gotta make the money
And
somehow.
I don't know what the cost of making a VHS tape costs, but it has to be stupid low for them to
I'm sure.
produce
I'm sure of it.
4.
I'm sure of it.
And these things, when I got them, I remember they had the Happy Meal toys, and then you could get this stuff. And I had like 3 of the Happy Meal toys, but the tapes were the things that I was like, I need all of them. I remember that Houdini episode, that basically was them with this guy who ran a magic shop, and then there was an episode where the meatballs would turn into these mutants and
Oh,
hunt them in the
I remember
sewers.
that. I remember just watching that on television, but I
Yeah,
remember that episode. I remember that
yeah.
episode. That was a 2 episode when you saw it on TV, kinda like they would show 1 episode and then or was it all continuously
Whole
1 episode?
one whole episode.
Got it.
It's not like those Nickelodeon shows where it did like half episode or half stories for like 15
Yeah,
minutes, whatever. No,
yeah.
the TMNT was one full episode each episode. Like you got the full 22 minutes. Because
That's
remember, you had commercials would be the whole full 30 minutes.
who would
But
have
yeah,
thought
dude,
that VHS tapes at fast food restaurants would be, like, such a hot commodity?
yeah.
Like, that's
So
incredible.
So that was BK. At least that's what I can remember BK having as far as their add-ons. Those watches were so crazy. I had to have them all. Now I do. More for the most part. I need one more for the
Yeah.
nightmare for Christmas. Um, but now we'll give your fast food
Oh,
some light,
McDonald's.
and we'll do some McDonald's deep dives. So
Yeah. I
McDonald's had their own cup situation and VHSs. The first ones we have to talk about one of the most iconic characters, cartoons of the 90s, 80s, and 90s, Garfield.
yeah.
Garfield has his
This is
own
what I
cup.
remember. Like, look at these are like so I guess these were made for, like, coffee. I don't know why they were in mugs. I don't know, McDonald's had a thing about mugs, and we'll get into that later, but, like, I remember seeing these, and I'm like, I never read a Garfield cartoon strip in my life, but I remember going with my grandmother, and I go, "Grandma, can I have one of these?" And she goes, "Yeah, no problem." Now, granted, I don't know how much they sold for. I can only imagine they were 1.99 as well, but, like,
Maybe cheaper.
everyone
I
had, like, a
think,
little comic strip.
yeah, I think they were maybe in the dollar range, maybe 199, because this was maybe late 80s, early 90s. Like
Easily.
me and my brother talked about it. We had the one on the skateboard. Like I remember having the one of him on the skateboard.
I remember having I think the seesaw one and the skateboard. I remember and those are the only 2 I've ever collected. But I remember they were comic strips and you'd read them and, they were kind of funny and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
what I remember the most, I have one in storage and I wish I had it, but, like, what I remember the most is that these never faded no matter I don't know what they did. I don't know what McDonald's did. These had never faded and still in pristine like, it's still the embossing of the picture is still on there, no matter how hard you scrubbed it. I'll never forget, I'm like, "Wow, this is still in pretty good shape."
Yeah.
So,
But yeah,
I
man.
mean, but they went to mugs after mugs and stuff like that, but I mean, these are iconic, like, these
Yeah.
just bring me back to a time I was like, "Oh my god, I can pinpoint, be there." I'm in the backseat of my grandma's, like, station wagon, I'm just like, "I need to have one of these," and it just transcends you there.
Yeah. No, and now seeing them, I'm screwed because now I want them. I'm gonna look for them.
Yeah, now you're gonna look for them.
Here goes going on eBay and Macari.
Yeah, let's see how much they go for.
Yeah. But
Um,
we'll give it to that. But Garfield it's an iconic. So I remember Garfield, he was everywhere. He had joke books, he had toys, he had that phone that was literally his whole body and his eyes will open up when you pick up
yep.
the receiver. Like
Mm,
he was just all over the place. And funny enough, some people will tell you that Heathcliff was more iconic than Garfield. Not to me. I would
not to
watch
me.
Heathcliff cartoons, but Garfield was it. And Garfield was like a variety show because it was Garfield, and then he had a segment on his show where it was those barnyard animals. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
remember,
I remember
with
that.
like the pig and stuff like that.
I think Heathcliff, if you had to compare it now, I think Heathcliff was the Timu of Garfield. Like,
But yeah, I mean,
like,
looks wise, I think
I see why people got it confused.
the animation on Garfield, I think, was a higher quality than
Yeah,
Heathcliff.
definitely,
But
definitely.
so,
So,
back to McDonald's and their
yes.
stuff. Now, you brought this up to me. I don't remember this. I didn't know that McDonald's did VHSs.
Yes, and I think this was a Christmas special. They always had a Christmas special. There it is. I'll never forget this. Like, Now, granted, you look at these movies. I mean, the $6.99 for a VHS, that is like a steal back then, a
Right,
steal.
because they went for like
Because you
20
look at these
bucks.
movies, these are like you got Back to the Future. That was an '84 movie. And this you're talking about this was like 1992, 1993 maybe, something
Right.
around like that, and these were like, Five-O Goes West, which I believe was a second Five-O. It was a sequel to Five-O.
Yeah.
That was, I think, '89 maybe, and that was my introduction with these VHSs because I was in love with movies, and again, I would go with my grandmother, and she would, "Oh, yeah, let me get all 3 of them." She wanted to get Field of Dreams, and I wanted to get Land Before Time, Back to the Future. I wanted all of them. Like, $6.99, do it, and it came in this little cardboard box, and that's how you got it in McDonald's. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Wow, okay, they're doing this now. Let's." As a kid, I'm like, "Let's go watch a movie."
Now, crazy
I'll never
thing
forget that.
is, Five O Goes West. I actually had that. My grandma got it for me. Land Before Time. I had it like boot, like I had it like recorded from
Oh,
somewhere.
okay. So maybe
But
from, like, the
great, funny
television?
enough, I remember we talked on the last podcast. I got like a lot, like ALOT lot of VHSs with a VCR, and all the Land Before Times were there, and almost all, actually all the Land Before Times are in a clamshell case, with the exception of the first one. That one's actually in the cardboard case, and I have that
Interesting.
back there. Yeah,
Was that
that was
when, I guess, I assume Disney took over, or because I remember Disney had the clamshell case. Wasn't that, like,
I just
exclusively
think that
Disney?
they when they were marketing the movies, the first one came out so long ago that they were just like, that's the branding that they went for, the style, which was the cardboard, and then they saw that kids movies were coming in those clamshells, and they're just like, all right, so we could be in the kids section and kind of mirror all the
Right.
other, basically all the kids movies at that point were going in the clamshells. So they went all from the second one on, they're on clamshells, but the first one is like that. It's in a cardboard box.
Wow. Yeah, I'll never forget that as long as I live.
And back
VHS at
and Back to
McDonald's.
the
They don't
Future,
do that nowadays, but they did it back then.
and Back to the Future is an absolute classic.
Of
It's
course. I mean, come
possibly one of,
on.
I mean,
I think I just
I have
bought
to
it just
say
because of
it's
you.
probably one of the greatest trilogies, considering that the third one is the weakest one, but it's definitely in the conversation of one of the greatest like
Yeah,
trilogies that
no,
have come
no
out.
doubt. It's almost near perfect in my opinion. So,
So now, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're
Are
actually
you ready?
representing right now.
I am. I am
The
representing.
Batman cups from Batman Forever. Batman
Yes.
Forever did a whole meal thing in
Yeah.
McDonald's. You
Like,
got
yeah.
the fries, the regular cups for your soda, the bag. I mean, if I could go back and tell myself, yo, don't throw this stuff away, I would. So you see those fry holders there?
Yeah.
Whatever character is on the front, on the back, you had like a little bio.
Yeah.
We don't have that image here, but I remember each one of them, like you had like a bio, like Batman's Bruce Wayne, and he was pursuing like Chase Meridian, and he's a philanthropist. How do you say that word? And it even said something about Dick
Philanthropist.
Grayson, and then
Yeah.
Two-Face story that he was a lawyer. Robin, how he was, or Dick Grayson, how he was in the Flying Graysons, and then he joined Batman. It was just, it was an experience. You go to McDonald's, you get your food and stuff like that. But on top of the actual, the production of your meal stuff, the glass cups,
The
those,
glass
oh my
cups.
god, those
My
glass
God.
cups had
Still
me
iconic.
in a freaking chokehold because I needed them all. And
Mhm.
when I tell you that those glass cups, like we would basically like, I think we had two in my house. We had the Batman one and we had the Riddler one.
That's
And I
funny. I
mean,
never had the Batman one. I never had the
now,
Batman. I had the Riddler and Two-Face.
yeah, now I have all four because I collected
Ye
them. And
Here's what I found.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah,
yeah,
there's the
yeah.
yeah,
See how it
there's
has
the
the bio?
has the bio of Bruce Wayne, and yep, there it is. It's like almost like
Yeah,
a card where you flipped over a card and they
yeah,
give you a little synopsis of who they were.
yeah.
So,
But the cups, I remember it's so crazy that like I needed them all. We only got two, and now I have all four. And I even helped your fiance get all four for
yes.
you. So I figured we could do in the spirit for Val Kilmer, R.I.P. We'll take
Yep.
a little swig of something. Here's that
Cheers.
Batman, and I'll pour our drinks in here for Val Kilmer.
Yep. So we say cheers, Val Kilmer. Rest in peace.
Get a little Coke Zero in here for you.
Yeah. A little tea. I think a lot of people were didn't like you at the time. You know, everybody wanted Michael Keaton, but you look back on it now, and he wasn't bad. I gotta admit,
To be
he
honest with
wasn't
you,
a bad Batman or Bruce
I
Wayne.
was I was like, "Where's Michael Keaton? Why the hell?" But then when I watched the movie, I was just like, "This the movie was." I liked Batman Forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a fan of the
I think
first
it doesn't get
one,
enough
not a fan of
respect.
Batman
I did too.
Batman Robin, but Batman Forever was a different it was a different take, cinematically, it felt bigger, the
Yeah,
world felt bigger and stuff like that, but I think he did a good job initially, and then when I go back and watch it now, and I have more of appreciation for it, and
yeah,
definitely
for sure.
Val Kilmer just I mean, it's just so sad what happened that he got throat cancer and he was
Yeah,
fighting that battle. And then there's a whole documentary and there's some videos out there you can watch about Val Kilmer, how they kind of like exiled him from Hollywood for a while because of some stuff that went down and he didn't want to play by their rules. And he documented everything on video. But
I
anyways,
remember. Yeah, I saw that
we'll
documentary.
touch
It was
that. But hey man,
incredible.
cheers to you,
Cheers.
cheers to Batman, cheers to
Cheers
Val
to
Kilmer.
Val. Rest in peace. Ah, yeah, man. Those glasses were so iconic. I mean, I mean, come on. Just look at this.
Yeah,
There's no printing on it. This is like literally 3D printing and it's like it was made this way
yeah. And
to like
I'll
stand the
tell you
test of
one
time.
thing. The crazy thing to me is so we had that one and we had this one growing up. This is the Riddler Cup.
Yeah.
And when I tell you ice cream never tasted better to me. I don't know what it was. Something my
The
brain
only cup.
started doing.
Were you the only one? Oh my god.
Ice cream in this cup tasted incredible. I would literally go have my grandma get chocolate ice cream from the farm store from La Vaquita.
You just blew my mind
And
right now. I couldn't believe it. La Vaquita in a button, and I'll never forget the La Vaquita. Now, that's a farm store drive-through place in Miami, and I don't know if they're around the country, but they're iconic in Miami.
yeah,
And the ice cream in a box, I'll never forget it.
yeah. But dude, I would get ice cream, put it in this cup. I remember eating ice cream in other cups, and I don't know when it happened that it clicked. That I was like, it doesn't taste the same. In this cup, for some reason, it's the peak of
Yeah,
chocolate ice cream. So
for
what I
sure.
would do is put the ice cream in here. And this doesn't hold much. This is the smaller of the cups. Put like maybe two, maybe four, three scoops in here. Let it sit for like 5 minutes. Then get a little soft and bro, go ham. I would eat so much. I would tell my grandmother, "Can you go buy more ice cream?" And she's like, "Mijo, you're going through the box of ice cream by yourself." And then she literally figured out that it was this cup. So I think she even like hid this cup for a while just so I wouldn't eat ice cream. But
I can't believe it. You
cup,
just broke up some crazy memory. I did the same thing, except for
something about
vanilla ice
this
cream.
glass cup and the Riddler one, not the Batman one, the Riddler cup and chocolate ice cream, I was just tearing it up. And it was great. It was
Well, you
so
gotta figure, I guess the Riddler one's a little shorter than the Batman one, so I figure
yeah.
like the Batman one, so the Riddler one's
Yeah.
about like this much shorter.
So
So
I'll hold them up right here. So
yeah, yeah, look at that. Yeah, something about that. It was like a perfect size for ice cream, like
And they
perfect.
are glass, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The glass. So
But yeah, man, that Riddler. I mean, that Riddler cup and ice cream was crazy. The whole set. I'm glad to have him now as an adult. I'm glad
me
you
too.
have him because you're
Yes,
actually the
absolutely.
Batman guy of us. And I'm
Um,
here representing, wearing my Robin shirt, and I got my Nightwing hat on.
nice.
This is a reprint of the shirt I wore at my 10th birthday, which I did a whole theme on, and when I went down there to Miami. And my buddy from the print lab down there on Instagram, I'll put his handle on there. He made this for me and the quality on it, it's just ridiculous. I was looking for a vintage shirt of it, and I found one on eBay, and they're selling for like $200. And I was like, I made an offer,
Never mind.
a modest offer, and the guy's like, I'll do 175. I was like, nah, bro, keep it. It's fine. I don't even know if that shirt's gonna fit me. It said extra large, but I remember it being a kid's shirt.
Right.
Anyways, and now we'll do the last cup that McDonald's had. Basically came as a kind of like a combo because you would get like a combo, and then I believe you ordered like a float or something like that, and you
Yes.
could get. They had several versions of these things, but it was the Coca-Cola glass.
Oh my god, the Coca-Cola. Now I just want to reiterate that this Coca-Cola glass is not something from the 90s. I mean, this is something like I think they brought it back. Speaking of nostalgia and retro, they brought it back from the 50s and 60s and from the diner era of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
This is how you used to have a float in the diners. And so McDonald's like, well, we're gonna bring the float here, and you get to keep a collectible Coke glass. And I had one of these. It's like this iconic Coke glass, and it's incredible how like for some reason it just a Coke tastes better. And it was definitely a mind thing, but a Coke tasted better in this glass for some reason, and
Yeah.
a float even better.
Yeah. And right there, $1.59. I think that 159 was the glass with the float.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
you would get the
soda and the
float,
float.
and then you would just keep the glass and take it home and wash it and use it as a glass, or use
Yeah.
it for your Coke
Bro,
or
I
your float
remember
or whatever.
going to people's houses and seeing like just a shelf filled with them. Like they were getting them.
Mhm.
I think later on they had like a whole different color scheme of them. They came in multiple colors, but
Yeah.
the 90s ones were just straight up clear. That one says Coca-Cola on on the front. I believe it was like it was an what you call it, like it was printed on there, but then
Yeah,
the
it was
other
like a
ones had it like engraved, kind of like the style of the
yeah,
Batman cups, where it
yeah,
was just like chiseled Coca-Cola on it.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
man, let
definitely,
me
but
tell
that I'll
you,
never forget that. I'll never forget that glass because
it,
I always figured that was a float glass, so I would put
yeah,
ice cream in it and then put root beer. I wasn't a big fan of root beer, but I would do cherry Coke. That was my
yeah.
thing, and I'd just make a cherry Coke float and literally watch Nick.
But
That's
dude,
how it was.
that was, I mean, the crazy thing is like I don't think they do that stuff in these fast food places.
They don't. No, they don't.
That
I to this day, I mean, they still do the Happy Meals, that's fine. I mean,
right.
but I've never seen the 90s was a place of, here's some add-ons. I mean, granted, you're not gonna sell VHSs because of the time we're living in. We're in a streaming world.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just don't do that anymore.
All right.
So
Now,
so I think I think that was so great about it. Like here's some extra add-ons, and it wasn't that much more expensive. It was just like, oh yeah, here's just like $1.99 and stuff
yeah.
like that. And so, it was something that I truly cherish, and it was awesome.
Yeah. So now what's the next segment have to do with?
I think the next segment, you hear
You hear
that?
that? What we got?
You-
Go, go get it. So in the 90s, we had the ice cream man.
Oh, the ice cream man, the
And
iconic
whenever
ice cream man.
that guy came into your neighborhood, you needed to bust that Olympic speed and just whatever you were doing, whatever TV show you were watching, doesn't matter if it's the prime. Like for me, my prime show was Power Rangers at 4:30. If that thing was on, you know what, bro? I gotta go book it because the ice cream man was coming, and that dude, yeah, he's going at a slow pace, but if you miss him, he's
You miss
gone.
him
He's
because you
gone.
had to stop him. You had to like
Correct. You had to
flag him
flag
down
him
like a
down
taxi.
and be like, "Hey, stop,
Yeah, and if
man!"
you were hoping, I'll never forget this. You were hoping other kids were running to flag him down, because then that means you could catch up with it, and you're
Right.
just like, "Oh, thank God they
And the
stopped
funny
him," you
thing
know?
is, in my block, it was always again, it was me, my brother, and like 5 cousins in my house. So we had an army in my house. So the minute we heard it, I remember like if I heard it, I'm like, yo, I'll send one like the smaller. I'm like, yo, make sure just go stop him. And I would get up and go follow. But always one of the kids in my house stopped. And then once we stopped him, the kid across the street came out, this other kid over here, the kid 3 houses down. And I'm just like, yeah, you're welcome, fuckers. Because I'm the one that fucking stopped them. Every time it was stopped in front of my house because
I think
we would book it out there.
before the money, it was before the ice cream truck. I had to like beg my mom, mom, money, give me some money. The ice cream truck's here. And like she would give me like some change, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, mom, this is not enough. I need like $1.25. What do you
Yeah.
want? So yeah, that's how it was.
The ice cream guy used to love to stop in front of our house because he would make all that money.
Yeah, he knew that the
Of course,
front of our house was that was the spot
that was the
because
hot spot.
all the kids would converge. Like I'm telling you, there's it within 6 houses of in right like in front of my house. There's like 2 or 3 kids in each one of those houses, and like we're there. Basically we would run outside, stop him, and then we're so in the jam of going to go get him. And okay, he stopped. Now we run back inside to Abuela, grandma, can I have some money for the ice cream man? And she would look at me, she's like, yeah, okay. And mind you, our parents didn't give her money for this. So she's just like, there's fucking 6 of you. I gotta give you 6 each a fucking dollar.
Oh my
So
god!
she's there getting
And a dollar got you a lot. A dollar got you a lot. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. So ice cream wise, they had, an array of ice creams, but there's
oh my
also
god,
other things on this truck. But the look at that. Look at that setup
that
right there.
selection, bro. That selection, bro. That like it was overwhelming as a
Yeah.
kid. Just like, okay, which one am I gonna do? What
And
am I
then
gonna do?
if you're a fan of certain like cartoons, they had so like even on there you have the TMNT, which I would get those every once in a while. Granted, a lot of these character ones, when you got them and took them out of the wrapper, they're a little deformed. They weren't as
They were the
pristine
funniest faces ever.
as the package shows them.
Yes.
Tweety definitely was cross-eyed a few times. That gumball was sometimes
Yeah.
like placed in the wrong spot and stuff like
Same
that.
with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was just like it looked like some of them were on crack.
Yeah.
Just like
But man, that thing was like those ice creams were so crazy, so iconic. The you got the ones that are like characters, and then you had other ones. But do you remember what your go-to ice cream was?
the go-to ice cream for me was two. It was always a hard choice because I loved them both. I loved the strawberry shortcake
Mhm.
and the screwball. Like they were like
Yeah.
hard choices. Like I couldn't figure out because I loved them both. And I would literally like, well, if I got a screwball last time, I got a strawberry shortcake. But mainly I'd try to go for the screwball.
I would screwball all the time. Like screwball was my go-to. Like
Blue or red?
for the most part, I think the guy that came to our neighborhood only had red. Very rarely did he have blue. But
Interesting. That's
he had
funny
the
how you
red
say it, 'cause I think the guy who came to my neighborhood was only blue. I don't think I've ever had a red one. And I remember it was like blue raspberry or can. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah. But man, now we had fire ice cream on there. But do you
Oh, yeah.
remember there was other items on this ice cream truck, at least in my neighborhood?
Yes, there was. Oh my
So
god. The things on an ice cream truck, bro.
and it's like which now you don't find. And again, some of these things don't exist. But you had a beeper gum. You had
Yes.
basically a plastic pager because beepers were a thing, and inside you had the little independent ones, and like you see right there, like sorry, I'm busy, and on the back you could like write a message. We never wrote anything on these things, but man, that thing we were like, yo, and then literally on the back it has a clip, and you
could literally clip it to your belt.
clip it to your belt or clip it to your pocket. Go to school the next day. Yo, you want a gum? Hold on, let me get my beeper real quick and pop that thing open.
What a flex! What a flex!
Your breath's a little stank, but I got you, dog. Here you go. But dude, that
What a
beeper
flex,
gum
bro.
was so hard. And look at that color. I mean, everything about that screams
For
90s.
sure. That looks like the
Screams.
back of your room, bro. Look at that thing. That
thing,
I mean,
I
the
literally
neon, the green, the
poster
pink,
of that.
orange. Yeah, the like look at that. That'll fit right in. If you could find that, that'll fit right into your room, bro.
Aside from the beeper gum, we used to get these once or twice because they're pretty cheap. But we used to get slingshots.
Yes, the slingshots. Oh well, we can. It was
Actually, yeah. Let's show that. We
What
had
is that?
the cigarettes.
I don't know what the people were thinking when they invented this
cigarette
shit. Like
gum, like
cigarette gums. Now
you
this
get a
is
little
not
box,
90s.
like the Marlboro box. Put a bunch of sticks of gum, wrap them in a paper that looks like a cigarette, and then I remember what we used to do is like we would put it like in our mouth, and you would blow, and then a little of that gum dust would come out to be like smoke, and we would like idiots just be there with like these cigarettes in our mouth and act like we were smoking, and then eventually just chew it, and then this gum didn't last. Like the flavor of this gum didn't last.
There's no way. It was definitely a marketing ploy to get us to smoke cigarettes when we turned 18, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like most definitely. It was definitely like get them young. That's what it was. And it's crazy to think I could do without this now. Like I now know that, my daughter growing up won't have to worry about this, like get them young or whatever, because these don't exist anymore.
Right.
Like it's everybody knew like, no, you're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But this was a thing in the 90s. It was just a different time. It was just this was it, So
now going back to what I was saying, like we had those gums, we had the beeper gum, we had the cigarette gums, and then the other thing we would get, at least in my neighborhood, I don't know if you're ice cream truck, we had these cheap slingshots.
Yes.
Or like just not great. I think they were like $1. Like, that's literally the one we had. And the thing is, these things would break. Now I don't know if you remember there was these other like high end slingshots that had
Yeah.
the wrist guard.
They
So
yeah, it would
they're
go on the wrist guard. Now,
so
was
if
that
they
sold
go
in your
to
ice cream
bed,
truck? 'Cause I thought that
no,
was
no,
sold,
no.
like, somewhere else.
These were sold in the ice cream trucks, but those wrist guard ones, you had to go to
Yo.
like a store or something like
Yeah,
that.
those well, I remember a kid in our neighborhood brought it, and he brought, like, marbles, and he would shoot one of those things, and it would vanish.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't
no.
know where the hell it went.
We would
Like
put rocks, pebbles, marbles in this thing, and after, like, I want what, maybe like 30, 40 tugs on that thing would just break off, like,
oh,
that
yeah, the
band
rubber
would
band, forget it.
it's
Forget it.
I think it cost, like, $2 on the
Yeah.
ice cream truck,
I think
but
I wonder if you could get them at the dollar store, those same ones. But, like, yeah, the ones on the wrist where, like, it held you, like, steady, bro,
and
you
it looked badass. It looked
of
athletic.
course.
It was a black thing that kind of goes here. You hold it, and it keeps your wrist from bending, and then
Yeah,
you pull the thing and for accuracy and stuff like that.
yeah,
And it was a higher end one, but at the end of the day, a slingshot. Like we're literally like
yeah,
getting a thing with like a rubber band and
exactly.
shooting marbles, rocks, and shit. Like
Bro, it
these are
was
things
more
that now you say, hey, you want a slingshot? The fuck do I
no,
slingshot
what
for?
do I no. What do you
No,
think?
I got my iPad, bro.
Next
I got
and then,
my
of course, cap guns. I mean, again, also
oh
sold in
man.
ice cream trucks. It wasn't just an ice cream truck. It was like a kid's
I think like
I don't
every
know.
like
I don't know what it was.
convenience store and like gas
Yeah,
station had them, and they're like $1 or something like that. I remember that I used to go to the flea market with my grandma a lot,
yeah,
and I would get cap guns. And then the funny thing is, the gun comes with one, but then you get like a pack of like 15 for like another $2.
yeah,
So the ammo costs more than the gun did,
yeah, for sure.
and you're
Like,
just there, cap, cap, and it's just pop, 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 pop.
and you only had 6, and if
Yep.
it didn't come with any reloads. Like,
No.
there you could keep the gun and then buy the reloads somewhere else, but that was it. So,
And then the funny thing is, back to keep with the theme of loud sounding things, we would get those poppers that you would throw on the floor. Look at those things.
yes.
Granted, they are a little more associated with the 4th of July, but I remember like the ice cream man, he had those too, and I think they're like 50 cents. And it was like sometimes they're in a box, sometimes they're in a little bag.
Yeah.
You're just throwing them at your feet. They never do, they don't hurt. They don't do any damage. Just the sound made you think that if you got hit with one, you would
Yeah.
be like that shit was gonna hurt. But no,
It's funny
nothing.
now because you could take one and just I could snap it in my
Pop
finger
it in
and
your fingers. Yeah.
nothing. But as a kid, you're like, stop. Like you would tell them, don't do that, you know.
But yeah, man, the ice cream man, that was such a trip. We had, like I said, we had the screwball was our favorite.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like that thing is as you get your little cup, you're eating the ice cream out of there. There you go.
There it
And
is.
then you got the drenched little gum at the end. I think later on, I don't know if this was to be funny, they had one that came out that had like 2 balls in it. It's like screwball with 2 balls. I was like,
With 2 balls.
mm,
I don't know
sure how
about that.
marketing
I
is
think I'm
gonna
gonna go with
work.
one.
I think we'll keep 1 ball. But then, all jokes aside, you need 2 balls sometimes. So,
Yeah, I guess so, you know.
but then
Whatever.
what was
I mean,
that other ice cream that I ate? I think it got discontinued, and this was a favorite. I never had. I had one, but I know a kid in my block would get this thing all the time. Like he was obsessed with it. The chocolate taco, choco taco, bro, choco taco,
bro, Choco
dude.
Taco. I never had one of these, but I always and this wasn't sold on an ice cream truck, was it?
Yep.
Was
In
it
my
was
neighborhood, the ice cream truck had the choco taco.
yo, look at that thing. This reminds me of that ice cream Briars came out with in the 90s.
Yes, that like
fancy that's
high
what this reminds
end
me of.
on the
The high
plate, and they
yeah.
would like cut it so slowly. The guy had gloves. It was like somebody's butler. I'm like, dude, yeah, that does remind me of that. But that
That's
was
what
we'll
look
talk
at
about
that.
that in another episode. But
Yeah,
that's
we're talking
I
about that in an episode, but
I
that's
think
what that looks like.
I've thought about that damn Briar's ice cream so much. Never had it. I never had it.
Never mind. I
I don't
haven't
know what
had
it
it.
tastes like. It looked like the most delicious thing in the world. Never had
I asked Briars on X to be like, please bring this back. Just please bring this back. I didn't get a chance to try it. Just please bring it back. So
Look at that lineup of
look at
cartoon
that lineup, bro.
characters.
Look at that lineup, bro.
Spider-Man, SpongeBob. I remember seeing a bunch of like SpongeBob's like all kind of like
Can you
deformed.
imagine this is all we had to worry about? What type of lineup
Like,
we were
that
going
was
to
the
choose in
stress
the
we
ice
had
cream
in
truck?
the 90s. The stress we had in the 90s. Run outside to the ice cream man. Get there. Stop him. Make sure you had enough money. And then which character am I getting? Well, I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy, but I'm also a Power Ranger guy.
Yeah.
But I do like Sonic. But
Yeah.
damn, they do that Spider-Man. Oh, and like you want to be loyal to all your fandoms. Like, all right, you know what? Okay, I'll take that one. All right,
Yeah.
I'm taking Spider-Man.
Yeah, and of course, if they didn't have it, they didn't have it. You're like, all right, I'll go with this one then. You know.
Yeah. Now, as we were doing our research, and I'll leave this out there for everyone, there is a very, very like crazy story to that song that we played for the ice cream truck. That was actually the song that almost every ice cream truck played in my neighborhood or as growing up. And this is a song that you, when you think about it, just brings you joy. Like you're
Yeah.
like, oh man, you're nostalgic. You go back to it. Oh boy, when we were
Boy, did
looking
we
this
learn
up,
something today. Oh my
when we were looking this
goodness.
up, we came across some information, like a very like dark past to this thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you
this
definitely put a stain
song
on history.
originally was called Turkey in the Straw. So that one's not that bad. But then there were two, I guess you would say, remixes by some artists that they just destroyed this song with racism. The
Yeah, it was
racism
definitely during Jim Crow era and stuff like that. Like
the
it was a
racism attached to that song, and now finding this out, that I'm just like, bro, like that's like another stain on my childhood. That song, a beloved song that reminds me of all this good stuff, is now just like, yo, this was a really bad racist song. Like there's two
yeah,
songs. I could say one of them completely. The other one I can't say. Um, but the first iteration of it was called Zip Coon,
yeah,
and the second one involves the N word, want a watermelon. And
yeah.
I was
It
just like,
was
dude, what is this? Like, why? And then again, we live in the world that we live in, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now.
yeah,
But it's just when we were doing our research and we came across that information, my girlfriend told me about it, and I was just like, no, that can't be. And just like literally, like my energy just like,
yeah.
like the
I think it just
racism
it
and
kind
stuff
of
like that.
it's something that you have in your head that it's just a vivid memory of hearing that song and it's a happy moment in our childhood. You look back on this history and you're just like, man, it's stained a little bit.
Yeah,
It's stained. It's just like,
yeah,
oh man, and it's just a time that it's pretty sad, that
yeah.
they did that back then. But that being said, it was still a vivid time in our lives that
Right.
we hear that song and it just brings us back to our childhood.
You
And
think
it's
about the experience, you think about what you're doing, the people around you,
yeah,
the
yeah,
ice
it
cream,
takes you
the
there.
excitement, and then again, still, I have fond memories. I'm gonna have fond memories, just but now I'm just like, I can't believe that a point of my excitement as a kid is also linked to such a negative like song, such a negative
Yeah,
idea that they put
yeah.
to it. But moving on, we'll end it with the the movie going experience of the 90s.
Oh,
The
yeah,
movie
of
going
course.
experience of the 90s was something that today you can't explain to somebody, because we have
No,
all these apps, we have the internet, we have computers, we have this stuff. You want to go watch a movie, you could Google what time does this play or blah blah blah. Back then, we would dial 777 film and call MoviePhone.
that's it. And there was a wonderful guy. I don't know if I could do the voice, but he'd be like, "Well, welcome to Movie Phone, brought to you by." It would be the radio station, which I think was
That's the guy right there.
Y100 in Miami, and the New Times. And then he would go and say what the movie times were, and then like you said, it would be a little trailer,
Yeah.
right?
The gentleman's name is Russ Leatherman, and
Ah,
he was basically the voice of MoviePhone and basically just movies for us. You had the
right.
guy who did the movie trailers, and then you had this guy.
Yeah,
And basically, what you would do is you would call, and you wanted to go watch a movie with your buddies. You call MoviePhone, and you're just like, all right, it gives you a list. It's like, oh, for Jurassic Park, press 1.
yep.
For Top Gun, press 2. And you would press it, and then it'll tell you, okay, your zip code. I think it tells you the movie theaters. You pick your movie theater by number, and then it's like, if you would like to hear a quick audio trailer, press 1. You would press it, and literally the trailer, like the trailer you would see in the
You would hear
movies,
it.
they had the audio version, and you would hear it right then and there. And then you would just hear it, you would hear it out. I'm just like, okay, and this is normal. This was our thing.
Yeah, this is our
And
thing.
just like, okay, cool. So then you're there, you're telling your buddies, all right, they have one at 9:30, so we need to be there by like this time. You go out, and that was movie phone was a thing. And so much, it was so popular, such a cultural
It
thing in
was.
the 90s. it was featured in a lot of things. It was on Seinfeld.
Yeah, when Kramer wanted, I think what the episode was, Kramer changed his number. He wanted to get a second number, and he chose 555 Flick, and it's actually 555 film. So he was getting all these wrong numbers of the movie phone, and so he just started giving out the movie times on
You
his
read
own
the paper
because
and
it's like
stuff.
whatever, it's just a lot easier, and then he would do the voice, and he would do it like it was, but it was a pop culture of this movie
Yeah.
phone. It was everywhere. It was all over the country.
Yeah. I remember, I think I read that AOL had bought it. They bought
Yep.
MoviePhone.
Yep.
They gave it attention in the beginning, but then slowly, like, it started to dwindle. People weren't using it, and then technology took off. The internet took off.
The internet
And
blew up, and that was
they
it.
tried to be something else as well. Yeah, you could get your movie times here, but we also have like movie reviews and like these
Yeah.
people can talk and stuff like that. And then initially, like in 2014, they just shut down because by that time, all the theaters had their own apps.
Yep.
Fandango blew up,
Yep.
and that people were going to Fandango to just basically buy their tickets online, and you could get the little barcode, the little QR code, and go get your stuff.
Yep.
But yeah,
Let me tell you something.
MoviePhone,
Back then, movies, you better show up on time to get a good seat. There was no assigned seating.
up until recently,
Yeah.
I want to say before Endgame, 2018, I always showed up to the movies about
Yeah.
an hour. If it was a big movie, I always showed up about an hour and a half early. I was the first guy in my group. I would go in groups to the movies, and I was always the first one because I needed to sit center,
Mhm.
a little bit towards the back, not the back all the way, but like in the middle, like
Exactly.
center.
That was the
Like, if it
perfect
was my
sitting.
living room.
Yep.
And I would
Dark
tell
Knight,
everybody,
I think I did that. Dark Knight Rises. I remember the lines that came out of the movie theater just to get a good seat. Like there
Yeah.
was no assigned seating.
Yeah.
As soon as they
No,
put
that's
assigned
like-
seating, there is no lines anymore. Like
Yeah,
this
no,
is
no.
your seat, and you better. There's someone there. You better fight for. Like no, this is my seat. I paid for it. You know.
And the hardest part was going to the movies, being the first one there, and then your people weren't showing up till like later, and then
my
you're
God,
the
yes.
asshole
Yes.
that's there sitting in a row,
The
with
whole row.
6 chairs. I'm like, oh no, that's safe for somebody. Oh, and then
This whole
every
row is
once
saved.
in a while,
What?
you have Mr. Tough Guy that's on a date. Oh, well, no one's sitting here now, and I'm just like, bro, are you really
This is gonna
about-
happen.
Are you about to pop off right now because of a damn fucking movie seat? You got here late. You're the one that's late. I was here on time. I'm holding these seats. Like there's that whole meme that I hope somebody does, and it's the guy holding the power morpher. That was me, bro.
Yes.
I got the morpher in the pocket, bro. It's you about to make it morphin time up in this bitch.
Yo, and you hated to be the one that had to hold the row or like 5 seats. You know, like
And that was me. I
1,
was
2
always
seats
that guy because
maybe,
I was
but the
always
whole
early.
row, no.
Yeah.
The whole row, forget it, bro.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm just like, damn.
Crazy time.
It was.
If it wasn't, and before MoviePhone, what was it? We went on like you would
Newspaper.
check the newspaper.
It was back in the newspaper,
And then
then
go to the back of the
and-
newspaper and look up the times.
But back then, people were getting newspapers still to the
Mhm.
door. They're not getting newspaper. I mean, even during MoviePhone, you could still look on the back of the newspaper and check the times.
Yeah.
Now you look back on the newspaper, it's not there anymore. I don't think it's. They're like, we're not wasting printing anymore. There's no point in doing this.
Yeah.
But I remember the newspapers, they had like the full-on posters on the back of it, like of the blockbuster hit that's coming out that weekend. It'd be like this big spread of the poster, and then you'd have the movie times for all the other ones.
But man, that was it. That was the how we got movie times and went to the movies back then.
Yeah.
Call MoviePhone, check the back of a newspaper, hear an audio trailer. It was different.
It was different.
We are definitely spoiled by technology now. It takes away from the experience, but
It
yeah,
does.
man, that's gonna call it. That's the episode.
That's the episode.
We
I appreciate it, Rolly.
We did the Burger King and McDonald's extra items you could get. We did the Ice Cream Man experience. We got a crazy little history lesson
On
in
the ice cream
bullshit
truck.
research, which was so crazy.
Yep.
And then we got the MoviePhone thing. So that's it. With that being said, everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm
Thanks for
Ro.
listening.
That is Tony. And please follow us, listen, and download shows on Apple Music. You can watch us on YouTube and on Spotify and anywhere else you get podcasts. Let us know what other things you would want to talk about. What was your retro experiences? Where did it take you back? Hit us up, let us know. We are on all socials and Rolly's Retro Room on Instagram. So with that being said, Tony, absolute pleasure, my brother. I will see you next week. Everyone, be easy.